Hey, I'm Roy Arthur. Welcome to another episode of Unbelievable Reality Podcast. And this episode I am going to dedicate solely to AI. For the next 30 minutes, I am, for the first time, going to try to focus entirely on one topic without digressing all the fuck over the place, which I am notorious for doing. Because I think that right now, this issue, this AI mess needs clarity. Really bad. And so I'm going to try to provide some. Now, let's go into this understanding. A few simple things. Number one, I am not an expert on AI. Number two, I am not a financial advisor. Number three, I am not a hydrologist, nor do I have a PhD in economics. I am none of those things, okay? Let's turn this off because we're going to need to. I'm not. What I am is I am a normal, average American citizen. Kinda. I'd say a little bit slightly above average. If that's a little ego talking, oh fucking too bad. Don't listen. I'm just a guy. But I've been a business owner for 30 years. I've built companies. I've had success. I've traveled the world. I've raised children. I have friends. I have a life. I have a perspective. And I'm really, really good at gathering information in the spider web of life and putting it in a place where I can understand it. I'm going to try to share some of that with you. So first of all, we've been warned about AI, the boogeyman AI, for over a decade now. Longer than that, actually, really since the invention of the internet, and actually since the first Terminator movie came out, AI's been on everybody's mind. But now we're in the world where AI is actually real. And we're living with it on a daily basis. We coexist with this alien intelligence, which is what Yuval Harari calls AI, alien intelligence. If you don't know Harari, you should read his book, Sapiens, Homo Deus. He's got a really interesting take on AI, and he is an actual PhD. So he's worth paying attention to. But right now, we're in the early stages, no matter how it's promoted, of alien intelligence and its quote-unquote takeover of the world. Look, AI's been around and in use for a long time, just in different forms that we didn't really recognize. Robotics in automobile manufacturing run on computers that run on programs. That is artificial intelligence that tell them how to put a screw in a car repeatedly. That's robotics and AI combined. Laser surgery. That's another great example of AI. Advancements in MRIs, X-ray technology. That's all AI. That's also robotics. So this really isn't a new thing, people. So step back for a minute and realize that the robotics revolution in industry has already been happening for decades. And it has been responsible for replacing human workers. That's just a fact. It's called automation. If you can get a machine to seal envelopes at a rate 10 times the speed of somebody that's just using a sponge, and you make more money by that process, what are you going to do if you're a business owner? Once again, having been a business owner, I understand, I'm buying a robot. It only makes sense to my bottom line. Businesses aren't in business anymore for the good of mankind. Businesses exist purely to make money. And that's a big piece of this whole AI explosion. It's being sold to us as an opportunity to cure cancer, to solve our environmental problems, to give us more efficient cars, better houses, smarter TVs. It's sold to us as a halcyon dream of a utopic society where we don't have to work. We'll just sit around and be creative. That's what all these motherfuckers talk about all the time. It's going to give people so much opportunity to create. Create fucking what? What? I hate to ruin your day, but the great artists in all endeavors, whether that's music, film, photography, painting, dance, anything, technology. Einstein was an artist in his own way. Those people that create at that level are outliers. They're one in a millions on purpose. The majority of humanity doesn't create shit because they're just not that fucking smart. And they don't think like that. They're not programmed that way. They're not wired that way. They don't have that ability. The majority of humanity has to be told where to take a piss or they wet their pants. Get fucking real. So that whole utopian idea is horseshit. And it's never coming true. Never. Also, the idea that somehow this automation is going to make our lives easier, right now, it's only making our lives more fucking complicated. Have you been on a phone call lately? Try calling, here's a great example. Try to call your health insurance company to dispute a claim. Just try that. Or your auto insurance company. Or fucking anybody. And see how long it takes you to get to an actual human being that understands anything that you're saying. That's AI at work right now. Ask yourself, how efficient is that? How well is that working? My opinion, it's not. In the first 6 months, well, actually, let's back up. Since the Trump regime took office, there's been over 2 million federal workers fired. 2 million. An average American household subsists of 4 people. Mom, dad, and 2 kids. That means that 8 million people have been affected financially and expected to be replaced by AI just in the first 60 days of the Trump regime. Now, corporations have been jumping onto the AI bandwagon and chopping off heads. Left and right, Amazon is in a huge rush to go fully automated, fully robotic, and get rid of all people. They already treat their workers like slaves. What a surprise that they'd want to have robotics in place and AI technology so that people can't take time off or have a piss break. Because if you work for Amazon, you better not take a piss break if it's not that 10-minute window, or you get fired. Which is a good reason or an explanation for why Amazon doesn't want to unionize. Another story for another day. Very important story though. Very important story about how we have eliminated unions in the United States on purpose. Big business has done that on purpose, and the Republicans have been the ones that have led the way. Starting back with the Reagan administration, but back to AI. Really right now, what AI is doing and being used for most successfully is killing people. Let's get real. That's what it's mostly being used for. If you try to use Chat, GPT, or Claude, Opus, I have been for the last 2 months. Those models suck. You hear the term AI slop. I hate it when people generalize things because I think it loses value. So let's be specific. A great example is I'm trying to build a nonprofit. This nonprofit's pure existence, pure reason to exist, is to be able to hire attorneys to file lawsuits to stop build-outs of data centers in places, specifically Arizona, where they don't belong. But every time, and I've been using Chat Pro, their highest grade model there is. Every time I start a new conversation, it is literally a new conversation because Chat doesn't remember anything that I've talked about before without me forcing it to go back and recap every previous chat. It starts like it's never done this before, like we have no relationship. I've been working with it for 2 months. Claude is the same. Additionally, the way these are programmed is they like to flatter you. They flatter you and then they give you plebiscite information. And they love minutia. What Chat does for me is I'll ask it, what percentage of the Colorado River system is currently being used by agriculture? It will respond to me with a breakdown of every single crop grown in every single state that gets water from the Colorado River system and how that water is diverted, etc., etc., etc. Everything other than answering the simple fucking question. And then it will flatter me. It will say, I see what you're onto here, and I intuit that you are trying. Then it starts to think for me. It starts to tell me what I'm thinking. It starts to try to pre-evaluate what I might say next so that it can shut it off and think for me and lead me to a conclusion that that program wants me to get to. It's creepy as fuck, but it's also tiresome and it's inefficient as shit because every time I start a new project, I gotta start all over again from scratch. So if you haven't used Chat or Claude, try it. Just try it. Pick a recipe to make something for dinner. Something simple like that. Or a simple car repair. Or something. Just something really, really simple. And then go ask it to walk you through the steps necessary to do it. Then stop that chat and come back 20 minutes later and start another chat about what you were talking about before. And see what it says. You'll be shocked. And look, if you haven't tried using some of this technology, you're not helping. You're hurting us. You're hurting our cause and you're hurting our perception. Because all you're doing is repeating bullshit that you heard from somebody else who's full of bullshit because they don't know anything either. You don't know how to swim until you get in the fucking water. One of my favorite examples is people that don't have parents that use the phrase, and I love this, I don't have kids, but I used to be one. So therefore I have an opinion about how you should raise yours. No, you fucking don't. Because you don't know shit. What you do know is that what I know now about you is that you're an arrogant asshole that thinks you know shit that you don't. Okay? That's what I know about you. Because you said something as stupid as that. That's kind of how AI works right now. If you haven't tried it, try yourself. The other thing that AI is really good at right now, more than anything else, is really just being a massive Excel spreadsheet, visualize that, for collection of data. That's really what it's best at. A great example what AI is mostly used for right now, with success, is military killing people and surveillance. Because it can gather all of that data, and then, like an Excel spreadsheet, it will find you and then grab all data that's associated to you in that column and add it all up and give a value at the end. That's what all of these data centers are for. They've got to have a place to store all that information. That's what data is. It's just fucking information, people. If we just speak in plain English, it's just information. It's not some data. It's information about you specifically, or me, or everybody else in the entire fucking world is the plan, apparently. That's what AI is really good at. Collating information to give you results that you specifically ask for. That's what it does best. The data centers are a place to store all that information. AI isn't thinking for itself. Will it someday? I don't know. I'm not, once again, a computer scientist. I'm not an AI expert. I guess in theory, yes, it is possible. Is it close? Who the fuck knows? Because here's another thing that we know about AI right now. What we are mostly getting is misinformation. That's what we mostly get. Because really what AI is about is the same thing as the housing bubble in 2008, the dot-com bust in 2000, the Great Depression in 1929. It's mostly about greed and making money. That's really what it's about. The dream of the powerful is to build a system of control. That's their real dream. That's their real hope for AI. Not curing cancer. Why would you want to save 100 million people in the United States that secretly, and not so secretly now, you want to die? You're not going to do that because you don't care. You only care if you get the cancer. Everybody else can fucking die. It only matters if the rich get the cancer. And then if they do find the cure, they're surely not going to share it with you and me. They're going to keep it to themselves unless they can find a way to make a lot of money off of it. So AI is not about improving the world of the average worker, actually, or average American. Actually, what it's doing mostly right now is destroying that world and creating mass hysteria over promises unmet and fears unrealized. There's a huge burning rubber smell in the air right now in corporate America. And that's corporate America hitting the brakes on AI spending. Because the most profitable companies in this country, Meta, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, have all lost money in the last quarter. Because they're over-invested in a technology that currently doesn't give value back. There's no discernible return on the investment. Additionally, it doesn't fucking work very well. Reference what I said 10 minutes ago. So this huge, and this is normal for business. This is normal. Business always does this because business is just people, and people buy hype, and greedy people, more than anyone else, are notorious for buying the hype. Poor people don't buy the hype because A, they can't afford it, and B, they're super cautious because they don't have any fucking money. So before they go buy that lottery ticket for $10, they really think about it, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it because it's their only chance to get out of poverty is to win the fucking lottery in America. Otherwise, you're fucked. And if you don't realize that now, give it another 5 years and oh, you're certainly not getting out. That's the other thing that all the rich is hoping for. Taking away the opportunity for entrepreneurship, the opportunity for people to create their own wealth and to be independent. That's another thing that AI is really good at, control. I mentioned that before. What AI has proven that it can do is do surveillance and kill people. And what's really happening right now is it's existing in a financial bubble. AI has lost $3 trillion. $3 trillion in the last 12 months. $3 trillion. The financial bubble is that. It's a bubble. What's happening right now is 8 companies are lying to us and everyone else by cheating. It's called circular financing, and it's going to fail because it's been tried before and it failed before because it always fails. Why? Let me explain real quick how it works. I borrow money from you. You loan me $500. I then go buy something from our friend Bob. I give him that $500. But Bob owes you $500 that you already loaned him. So Bob pays you back with the money that you gave to me, that I gave to Bob. But now you show the money that Bob gave to you as income, as an asset. But really, Bob just gave you the money that you loaned to me that I gave to Bob. So you didn't make any money. Do you see it now? You didn't make any money. A great example. OpenAI just got a $37 billion loan from NVIDIA to turn around and buy $36 billion in NVIDIA chips. NVIDIA loaned them the money to buy their own product. How does that work? Do you see it? Do you see it now? That's circle financing. And the 8 companies are 37% of our gross domestic product every year. Right now, 37%. And it doesn't exist. It's not real. While we've turned our back on agriculture, on manufacturing, on infrastructure, everything, trillions of dollars are being spent chasing this utopian dream of control, surveillance, and the rich finally being able to separate themselves from the unwashed masses. The other thing about the AI data center build out is the environmental disaster that's looming. The Southwest, all 8 states are in a drought, have been for 30 years. No one wants to talk about it. We're running out of groundwater to pump. Our electrical grid can't support the electricity needs of these data centers as they're constructed now. There's ways to make them energy efficient and water efficient, but it's too expensive and it takes too long and they're in a hurry. So what they're using is gas turbines to pump more CO2 and toxic chemicals like methane as well into the air to turn the engines to cool and power these massive mainframe computers. With chips, here's another thing that will only last for 3 years. Each one of the data centers being built today is already obsolete. Project Matador in Texas will be the biggest data center in the entire world. By the time it's completed, it will already be obsolete. Chip technology is increasing at an exponential rate. Within 12 months, the chips that work now won't work. There'll be new ones. In order for them to replace those, they'll have to replace the mainframes, i.e. retrofit the entire fucking complex, which is 5 times the size of the island of Manhattan. 5 times. The summary on all of this is this. Will AI provide benefits? Yes. Is it going to be with us forever? Yes. The second rev of business that comes in and takes over all of this disaster will be able to make it work. How long will that take? We don't know. But as it is right now, other than the scare tactics of trying to frighten people into you're going to lose your job, your life is not going to be the same, you must comply, other than the Orwellian, draconian shit that's happening right now, AI is a complete bust in form, function, and economics. And everyone in the industry knows it. But no one can admit it, because if they stop building, then they've effectively admitted it, and it's over. This is chaos coming, and chaos is already here, but it can get worse, and it's going to get worse. And there's so many other factors, the Iran war, etc., ICE, etc., so many other factors that affect this that are going to make it fail now. What happens later, I don't know. But right now, it's a fucking Ponzi scheme, and we're going to be the ones left holding the bag. I'm Roy Arthur. This is Unbelievable Reality Podcast. If you don't like my opinions, don't fucking watch. Otherwise, check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and we'll talk soon. I hope it's more optimistic.